Real then we will be drawn into some crisis. No, there is a crisis because actually you need food and food is not there, or it is insufficient. And that is the time we forget everything and we ambush and we try to get something for ourselves. അവിടെ ചില പിള്ളേരെ പോലെ മറന്നു. We may even forget very close people. Life-death situation ഒന്നും ഇല്ല. There is actually no life-death situation. It's a missing of a meal for a day or for lunch. That's all. But the mind creates a hallucinatory state whereby the person feels that I'm going to die now. He gets into a psychic condition. Actually what happened, that materially something was not there, then that idea that comes to their mind or that experience that comes to their mind will grow beyond all kinds of limits, and then there can be very inhuman, or can be no concern for the society, there can be no feeling of generosity, self-accusativeness, self-centeredness, possessiveness, jealousy. You go there, you don't get, the other one got, then there is discussions on that. And so this trait is actually there in the lower forms of animals. They express and they forget. But for humans, they express but they can't forget. So lifelong trouble will be held by them out of this in their mind, that they may consider that people who have participated in that or maybe the cause of this problem will be treated as an enemy, maybe to the end of it. So it is a small thing, but it is not a small thing. It develops into a very huge, big crisis. Usually we don't look and we don't understand. So what we do I was there in Europe during the Gulf War. Kuwait war at that time. And as soon as it was announced, it came in the war broke out. And what happened, I heard the news in the evening television. People in France, in Paris, they rushed to the supermarkets and they emptied the supermarket in no time. All the food section was emptied. Everybody came with their car and took up everything and went back home. Because they had the earlier experience of war, Second World War, all stories they heard about it. So they want to ensure. But when they are going to really grab all the things for their own enjoyment and not of the survival, they don't consider the nearby fellow being. It's normal for human beings. We are very generous, very, very beautiful people, but when it comes to crisis, not all, majority gets into this crisis. This is how our psyche is going. This is the main point of the base chakra, Muladhara Chakra. The aspects of Muladhara Chakra are food, security and shelter. It is operating on these three aspects: food, security and shelter. It can happen at any time. Nothing is in our control actually. Food is available, but if it is not in your hand, you have no surety that it will come to you. Even if it is in your hand, you can miss it. Or something happens that you cannot eat it. So everything is uncertain, but we want to ensure and make it really, you want to ascertain that it is there for you. And so naturally alongside with that, there will be the tendency of accusativeness comes. We have sufficient things, but still the tendency of acquiring things comes. More and more and more. This is a trait of rats actually. I have studied rats, and they associated accusativeness with the rats. Day long they are going and picking things and putting in their granary, or not granary, in their cellar or small place. Never stop it. And if you look into human beings, we can also see that most of us are doing this. Even if we wanted to ensure that it will be there for 2 more days. It is not bad. I am not saying anything as bad, but this is the tendency of the mind. Muladhara Chakra is operating on this field, in this field. So it is and when it comes to that crisis, we will not actually bother whether others are getting food or not. If I get it, it's fine. Then when I am full and everything is okay, I am ready to leave.
സ്വന്തം ഫാമിലിയാണ് ആ റൂൾ അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യുന്നത്.
വലിയൊരു പരിധി വരെ നടക്കാറുണ്ട്. നോക്കിയാൽ സ്പെസിഫിക് ആയിട്ട് നോക്കിയാൽ സാക്രിഫൈസ് പോലെ ഷെയർ ചെയ്യാം, ഷെയർ ചെയ്യും, ഫാമിലി ചെയ്യും ഡെഫിനറ്റ്ലി, അതർവൈസ് ദർ ഇസ് നോ ഫാമിലി. Family has a coherence and unity and then concern and love among the participants of the family because they are living together. But it is composed of individuals, and individuals have this. If they are doing it elsewhere, the tendency is there in their mind that it can also manifest. But this is such a very big thing actually, which needs to be addressed, and something we have to learn, understand, and evolve from these acquisitive, possessive tendencies, and then grow into a human being. Otherwise, all animals are doing, we are also doing. So, when you are trying to develop ourselves into a higher realm, where you can be a human because you are sharing things, and you become very generous, generosity comes into a person. The highest aspects of the base chakra are generosity, concern, sharing, taking care of. But usually all these things won't work at all. We look for ourselves and our own pleasure, comfort, and we eat. But there is another possibility, is that possibility needs to be explored and understood, so that it can be better for ourselves as well as our surrounding and for the world. As a community, we can live together. Otherwise, we cannot live together. That is the main problem actually. At least as you said, in the family it is there. There's a lot of sacrifice are there. When we are eating here, she is not sitting and eating. She wants to ensure that everybody gets the food. Yeah, I have seen many days. Now we have covered 6 days. And she makes herself busy. I understand why she makes herself busy. She wants to see that it reaches everybody. So if something is left, she can have it. And so she engaged herself in washing and washing. Sometimes she starts upward. Yesterday she did it. And because dosha was not enough. So there were little dosha was left. And so if she stays, somebody pushes her to have the dosha. And so then it will not be enough for others. And so she immediately disappeared from there. And then she didn't remember.
കോണ്ടെക്സ്റ്റ് സെൻസിറ്റീവ് ആണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. നമ്മളെ ഗ്രൂപ്പിൽ എത്ര പാർട്ടായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത് വെച്ച് ഇപ്പോൾ റാൻഡം ഒരാൾക്ക് എന്തെങ്കിലും പറ്റുവാണെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ക്രൈസിസിൽ ഐ വുഡ് സേവ് മൈസെൽഫ്. പക്ഷെ വാറിലൊക്കെ ക്രൈസിസ് സംഭവിക്കുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് എല്ലാവരും ക്രൈസിസ് മോഡിലല്ലേ. പക്ഷെ ഒരു അറിയാത്തൊരു സോൾജറിനൊരു ഇഷ്യൂ വന്നാലും വേറെ സോൾജർ ഹെൽപ്പ് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ടൊക്കെ പോയല്ലോ. അപ്പോൾ ആ ഒരു കോണ്ടെക്സ്റ്റിൽ ഹൗ വി see ourselves as part of that group.
Certainly it is there. But the other instinct is there, like an instinct. And that needs to be rooted out. Even if it belongs to the enemy camp, the person belongs to the enemy camp, when he is wounded, certainly being a human. But if you go there, you will be killed. So you cannot do it all the time. You have to save yourself to save others. So we may not be able to do it, but still that feeling is very important feeling for us, because we are part of a bigger community which is humanity. But yoga, we are aiming at Loka Samasta Sukino Pavantu. That was it in Parayana. രാവിലെ സെഷൻ ഫുഡ് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അടിച്ചു മാറ്റി നമ്മളോട് അതൊരു ഒരു ബേസിക് ഒരു സാധനമാണത്. കാരണം കിട്ടാതെ വന്നാൽ എന്ത് ചെയ്യുമെന്നുള്ളൊരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ കിടക്കാം. കിട്ടുമെന്നുള്ള ഉറപ്പാണ്. നമുക്ക് ഇഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടൊന്നും കിട്ടത്തില്ല. എന്തെങ്കിലും കിട്ടും, വരും, എപ്പോൾ വരുമെന്ന് അറിയത്തില്ല. അപ്പം അതുകൊണ്ട് അത് ഉറപ്പിച്ച് വയ്ക്കുക. അത് വി നീഡ് ടു ആക്ച്വലി എൻഷുർ ദാറ്റ് ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ബി അവൈലബിൾ ഫോർ us. This is a normal human tendency. All animals have this. But human beings have another possibility, which is that they can grow from there and they can share. അപ്പോൾ അതിന് അഡ്വാൻറ്റേജ് ഒക്കെ എടുക്കും. പീപ്പിൾ ക്യാൻ ടേക്ക് അഡ്വാൻറ്റേജ്. ഇഫ് യു ആർ എ പേഴ്സൺ ഹു ഈസ് ഓപ്പൺ ആൻഡ് ഷെയറിങ്, പീപ്പിൾ ക്യാൻ ടേക്ക് അഡ്വാൻറ്റേജ്. Certainly I have seen in my whole life experience, I have seen this. When you are open and when you are a giver, certainly people take advantage and they take everything without thinking that you also need something, your friend also needs something. And sometimes forgets this. So we have this human side and we have this very self-centered animal side also. So that a practitioner, yogic student, like a Kundalini Yoga student, is studying that. Otherwise, usually we know, we feel, but we have not going to study usually. But it's very important for us to study and understand properly. Understanding is what is happening within myself needs to be understood. My instincts, my push from within, and how it is going to affect the society outside, and what makes me feel that I am different from the society, what makes me feel that I have to protect myself. And actually, even if we try to protect ourselves, we may not be able to protect ourselves. Something sudden has happened that our life is gone. So we are at the brim of a crisis or danger all the time. But still, in that crisis, we are trying to ensure ourselves. But we cannot ensure ourselves, but it is done by so many factors putting it together. Okay, these are all part of our study, and so our awareness expands. Kundalini is the expansion of awareness. So that's why we are looking and studying one by one, not everything at the same time. There are many aspects which are working in human beings, and then we are taking one part of it and start to study. And in this area, how I am as a human being. Am I a real human being, or am I very physically possessive, strange? I'm feeling jealous about everything. And why it needs to be studied? Because if we don't study it, we will not understand that we are like that. If we don't understand, certainly the consequences has to be borne by ourselves. Because when this kind of a fighting tendency or grabbing tendency or secrecies and things like that is working, we may not be able to breathe normally after some. We are holding. So our lungs won't expand for us to get to give some oxygen. And that is, we are in a way, we are trying to kill ourselves slowly. So that is why this system of Kundalini Yoga is such an incredible system that it addresses every little aspects. which is working in the human psyche. And then we slowly master. When we master our own mind, we are the master of our mind. So, okay, we will be peaceful, and our behavior slowly changes, not intentionally trying to change because of generosity, feelings, concern, everything develops in the person. Thereby, he can become a beautiful human being. That is the first step of evolution. And then, that is why when you read, when I explain, I will explain all these things. At a stage we become human and then we become divine. First of all, we have to, because we were endowed with great faculties as a human, and that needs to be tapped before we ascending to further programs, further levels. And then we enter into a higher level. And thereby, you could place yourself in others and others in you, and then there is no barrier. And but in life, this is not easy. You may be very open-hearted and you are a very giving person, but when you start to see that possessive tendencies, strange tendencies moving around you, then naturally you will have the tendency to train that other one, to show the other one that you need to understand. And that is right from your side to do that. You need to show that there is a problem. If you directly show the problem, the other one gets very hurt. That is not in your agenda to hurt another person. So you won't do it. Then you find methods to teach, to try to make them understand that there are something which is not really working favorable for yourself, not for the others. Basically, it's not favorable for you. So, you have to look there and understand. And you give an openness for the other one to enter and look. And you guide them, slowly. And for that we need to actually look. And now we are, for example, when we are doing asana, and we are getting sometimes pain, sometimes stiffness, and however we try, maybe 1 week we have tried, 2 weeks we have tried, but it's not working. But the very same individual was a small kid born from the womb of the mother and absolutely flexible. If that flexibility was not there, the baby, the infant could never come out of the body of the mother. The body of the little one shapes according to the door through which it has to come out. And we were such an adaptable being. And then, after some time, we lost all these things. And what happened? By the social conditioning or cultural conditioning, we become a little tight. And this tightness has tightened us. Actually, this is what happened. We have tightened. And so our body is not anymore flexible at all. Now we have to work in a holistic way to work with our body, work with our prana, work with our mind, seeing all these problems around us, and slowly try to work and get out of it. And then you become a full-fledged, developed human being, which is the purpose of living. Other things will follow. So it is such an interesting, when you get an interest in actually looking into these things, you can see everything about your life, from where you are, from where you came, where you are now, and where you can go. So in that way, it is a transformative support, a support for you to transform. So that is the idea of the day. We take a small break.